So we talked about different things during the podcast. And so then I would take those sections of the transcript, and then I went into Chat GPT, and I would say, hey, Chat GPT, this is a transcript from my podcast. Can you take the information in here and rewrite it and use it or use it for a chapter of a book? The name of the book is How to Write Stand-Up Comedy. This chapter is called Styles of Writing. And then it did. So in like 2 seconds, it like wrote a first draft of that chapter.
This is episode 104 of the Arts Academy podcast with Victor Varnado and Roxxy Haze. How to write an actually good book fast using AI.
All right, everybody. Here we are back. It is the Arts Academy podcast. I am your host, Dean Victor Varnado, and holding it down as she does is Deputy Headmistress Roxxy Haze. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm hyper today. I had some sugar. I am up, baby. Let's go.
All right, Roxxy Haze, ready to slap the shell off a turtle. All right, the Arts Academy podcast, as you know, if you watch this all the time or listen to this all the time or whatever you do. Roxy, did you know that you're actually over here, but I'm looking over here because I'm trying to train myself to look at the camera more?
Really? You're here.
Oh, yeah? Nice. And you're looking at the camera?
No, here's the camera.
Oh,
my camera's
perfect.
Up. So
yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Okay, so anyway, the Arts Academy podcast is everything that you need to know about the entertainment industry, all the mechanics of it. Now, I am a comedian, cartoonist, and entrepreneur, I guess. I don't know. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, I got getting bread.
I'm an inventor. I've invented things, everybody. Anyway, if you wanted to have a real reason to stop liking me. Now, what we're talking about today is how to write an actually good book using AI. Now, right now I'm at we're recording this, but when this actually goes live, and is released on the podcast, by that time this book will be out there. So I'm going to talk to you if you're out there, if you're an artist and you want to use AI to rapidly generate a book. And I'm not talking about you're using AI to like write for you. I'm just talking about you using AI to speed up the process of getting to a first draft of a book. Okay. And this is actually really interesting because I'm going to tell you how the story of how it happened. And when I tell you the story of how it happened, I will also be telling you the story of how to write an actually good book with AI. Okay. Here it is. The Arts Academy is a podcast that I have right here and now. And the reason that I have this podcast is because I did not want to keep answering people's questions all the time, because I work in entertainment and I am known as a person that will answer people's questions. Like if people are like, hey, what happens in a pitch meeting? I will take the time usually to tell people what happens in a pitch meeting. And that led to many people asking me stuff, because I got to be known as a guy who people ask stuff. And then it was too many people after a while, just like too many people running up and being like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I was like, try to help as many people as I could, because I think hoarding information stinks. But then, but still it was too much. So then I started saying, you have to take me to dinner. And so people would take me to dinner, and I was like, while I'm at dinner with you, you can ask me any question you want. And I would like drink whiskey, like good whiskey. I wouldn't care. I would just be like, hey man, you're paying for this. And I would answer all the questions about how to do things. And that was working great until the pandemic. Because once the pandemic hit, then I couldn't, I couldn't go out to dinner with people. And so people were still asking me stuff. And of course I was not getting free whiskey. So I was like, I'll start a podcast so that when people ask questions, I can just do an episode of the podcast about it. And then I can, point to that episode. Also, when people want to have a one-on-one session, we can record it as part of the podcast and I can release it to everybody. So like everybody gets value from it. And that's like, it satisfies me wanting to help people. And I don't have to devote like a lot of time to it. Anyway, so one thing that I thought would be a good idea, because now there was a podcast, I was like, okay, how can I make this a real, like, valuable thing? I was like, okay, why don't we take the most popular episodes, because like over time that some episodes will rise to the top, and turn them into like an ebook, right? Because then because some people like to get their information that way rather than through a podcast. And if we have we have a subject that is vetted like an ebook. I mean, not like an ebook. I'm sorry. We have a subject that's vetted because it's been the most popular episode, so we know that people are already interested in this. So one of our most popular episodes was actually the most popular episode was how to make a TV pitch deck. But the second most popular episode is how to write stand-up comedy. I was more interested in writing an ebook on how to write stand-up comedy, so I chose that one instead of how to make a TV pitch deck, because I was like, that's going to be boring. Anyway, so then I took the transcript of how to write stand-up comedy and I started to work on it. And then I was like, this is boring, just going through a transcript and translating it into an ebook. And I was like, I think I can make AI do it. Okay. So then what I'm sorry, your face. You're like, are you enjoying this story?
Yeah. What's my face look like?
I don't know.
I've been trying to work on making sure that I visually look engaged when people talk.
I think it's you. Do you smile weird? Is that possible?
How do I smile?
I don't know. Do you have like a maniacal smile?
I think it's the big eyes and the smile together.
Also, you just have an anime head.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let me get back to my riveting story. So then, thanks. So then after I started doing it, I was like, I think I can make AI do this. And then so I first I went to ChatGPT, and what I did was I went through all of the transcripts and I split it up into chapters, because like in the transcript I had talked about different things. So I physically went through the transcript and named each one a chapter. Okay. And then so then I had like the part of the transcript where I'm talking about getting into stand-up comedy for the first time, or the transcript where we're talking about styles of writing. So like, so we talked about different things during the podcast. And so then I would take those sections of the transcript, and then I went into ChatGPT and I would say, hey, ChatGPT, this is a transcript from my podcast. Can you take the information in here and rewrite it and use it for a chapter of a book? The name of the book is How to Write Stand-Up Comedy. This chapter is called Styles of Writing. And then it did. So in like 2 seconds, it like wrote a first draft of that chapter. So then I took that chapter where it just like went in and took the information. So it's still my information. And so I took it and I had a first draft of that chapter, and I just repeated that process all the way down through the book until I had a first draft. It took me maybe like a couple of hours, but I did it on like a Saturday morning, and then took a break, and then I came back and I edited that book for a couple of hours. And it wasn't like a giant book, but it was like a 600-page ebook. I mean, that's 6,000 word ebook.
Like, we have very different opinions on what a big book is. Okay.
Yeah.
6,000. So about how many pages is that?
6,000 words. I don't know. Like some people say it's like 250 words a page. So that's like 24 pages, 25 pages.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a 6,000 word ebook, and I did it in a day. And the best part about it is that it is not, because I had it working from my own transcript. It was not just junk information. because sometimes I think the way the AI writes is kind of like junk information. I mean, it writes coherently and it writes like generally good information, but it's kind of lifeless. And so when I force it to like use my writing, I mean, there's actually a lot more to it than that. And then I got really freaky and I started to really, really write and then construct the way that it writes because I wanted the writing quality to be better. And so this is the part where we'll probably leave a lot of people behind because at that time I was like, I'm not satisfied with this writing. Like, even though it did rewrite the chapter of the book, there was like so much editing that had to go into like making it good enough to release that I was like, okay, is there a way to even get it better? And that's when I started working on really some very detailed prompt generation that eventually became this app that I'm working on right now called the Magic Bookifier. And it's like a combination of traditional like proprietary algorithms and AI. So it's like that together. But anyway, that's how you'd write a book that's actually good with AI. Or when we launch the Magic Bookifier, you can actually just go use that because you can just drop your transcript in there and click a button and it'll do it all for you. Because that's what that's what I made it for. But if you're, I think that this information is really good for somebody if you're like a person who is having trouble getting past your first draft, then it's going to be really helpful. Or if you're a person who's got a lot of ideas and you don't want to, and sometimes you have so many ideas, you don't want to invest all the time it takes to make each of those ideas come to life. This is also something that could probably be helpful for you. So, because that's the way I am. I'm like, I'm a person who I have so many ideas, and I created a tool where I can get an idea up and running so much faster. That makes me really, really happy. And I was also happy not to have to go through all of that transcript to write the book. I could just jump on at the fun part, which was editing, which is, exactly.
Going to add your little slant in there. That's dope. I'm definitely going to be using that for one of the books I'm trying to write now.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll give you, you can be an ambassador. We'll give you a free account.
Ooh,
we'll give you free credits every month.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
You can find us at artsacademypodcast.com.